Yeah, everyone look at this very, very carefully. What happens is when they are,
Anand is first.
Anand is joined first right now because the other guy might have, I don't know.
Because MVL is not done with his daily.
He has not yet done.
Oh,
So MVL is playing with Duda, and it looks like it's a winning. MVL is winning this 2 pawns bishop. Yeah, yeah, he won. I think. Yeah, MVL won. So MVL is still 1 pawn ahead. Sorry, 1 point ahead. But Anand is like within striking distance now. Two things. So let us see. So good. So yeah, let us look at this now. See what happens is white to play. Okay. What can white do? White has to go towards one side, whichever side he has to go to one, right? So let us say if he goes toward the H pawn, then black moves this pawn and there is this peculiar wall gets created, okay, and because of which there is the advantage for black. I mean, black means whoever the pawns are in advantage here. Now white is not able to come back to attack the pawn because the comeback route is all blocked. Okay, now you know very well that if I kill it, then it is anyway this pawn is running through. So that is not an option. So only thing that what he can do is he can come down and wait. He can come down and wait. And in this position, black will play king to a7. Okay. Now again it is. Now again it is
Yeah, back to the
white to play. What will white play? Right.
King H4.
Yeah. King h4 is
King
the
to H4.
king h4 is the right move. Okay. If anything else, white tries. Okay. Let us say if he tries king to,
black just pushes his pawn.
then h4 again, and then again same thing. He cannot go here because then this will push and create the wall, so that this will be a bad position. And if he goes here, then other side will come back. This pawn will push and again create the same wall, right? So both ways it is not possible to go. So what does white do then? Sorry. So what white does is, he simply comes down and waits. Comes down and waits. Okay. Now if black pushes the pawn, then black is lost because white will take it and obviously is in time. So black cannot also push the pawn. If black push this pawn, then also white wins because, and now he is within the time to block it. So black also cannot push this pawn. So in this position, it is not that black has got a defensive advantage. So when king takes h4, black plays this pawn and now waits. So if king cannot take it, but if king comes to what do you call h3, king comes to h3, then black also makes a move and wait.
The kings just keep repeating.
Yeah, that is what, and this is a draw. Okay, because if white makes some other move, then white loses. If black makes some other move, then black also loses. So it is in both interest to just hold.
Black can play king to c7.
No. Okay, we will see what
Yeah.
happens. You can play. Let us see this. King
And
h,
then do what? I mean, you don't
king
do.
h3.
You
Yeah, but
don't get far.
And if black plays
And
king
king
to,
h4.
sure the
Queen h4
position
is
Then
will
what?
retreat after some point.
a7 and b6.
yeah, what will
a7,
happen is
king
a7,
b7.
a7, and king will have to come to b7. Then you will make this. Okay,
But
and
it's still
now
the same position.
it is similar position, but black has got only one. This now black cannot make any more. Right now, still black can hold it. Okay, right now still this is still a draw. But if black cannot go to c8 anymore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then you no more.
So black king has to go to a8 now, and white will. move to h4, and then black king has to come to b7. Now he cannot do anything else. Now black absolutely has to play this only. So it's still a draw. But so when the pawns were original, let's go back. When the pawns are one file apart, there is a certain defensive trick because of which black is able to draw. If there are two files apart, then that defensive trick is not available and white is able to capture one pawn and also be in time to stop the other. So white is winning the pawn, winning the game if the pawns are two files apart in this case. And if the pawns are three files apart, then because they are too far away from each other, white king cannot stop both of them and it is black who is winning. So very interesting. I think you have to see when one file apart, it's a draw. Two files apart, white wins. Three files apart, black wins in this position. Right? So, and you have to internalize this. You have to internalize what and why to your unconscious mind also, not just the conscious mind. Okay, any questions? Any questions on this? We looked, one pawn was always on h5, the other pawn was on f5, e5 or d5. d5 black wins, e5 white wins, f5 it's a draw.
What if we have connected passers?
Connected passes is a completely different. Completely different.
Oh, okay.
Connected passes you have seen it here, right? a6 and b5. You cannot do
Oh
it.
yeah, it'll be a draw in the same way.
Yeah. Okay. So that takes us to, so we saw this position, two files apart we first saw, then one file apart we saw it's a draw, and three files apart it's a win for black. All of this we saw. So let us look at the next position. This is again a very interesting position. White to play.
King to b5.
Yeah, king to b5. See, the key part is black's pawn is running down and white has to catch it, right? White will not be able to queen his pawn because black king is there to stop it. So how do you stop black's pawn? Black plays h5. Now?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, the white king is not in the square of the pawn.
White king is not in the square of the pawn, but white has got a very interesting trick. You are right. So to start with itself, right? White was actually not in the square of the pawn. So can white draw this?
Yeah, white can draw this. White can draw this. He can get into the square.
See, the trick is this, okay? The trick is this. When the black pawn is on h4, if white is able to reach e4, then he will be able to stop it. Then it will be in the square of the pawn. But right now the black pawn is rushing ahead. How do you get it? How do you get in? Because if you place king to c4, right? Then black will play h4 and you will play king to d4. You are still not in the square of the pawn. Right? So, but
King c6.
King c6. Now white is saying that I am planning to play to king to b7 and then I will promote my pawn at the same time as you will promote your pawn and it will become a draw.
So then black has to play king to c8.
Black has to play to king to c8 because of this one vestige of the move. Now white plays.
White's
King
in the
d5.
square.
King d5.
Now white is in the square of the.
He comes into the square.
Now it is a draw.
So normally this is a draw. I mean, this is a win for black, but white has a pawn, so.
Yeah, white also has a pawn, right? So that's. But white's pawn is such that it can easily be blockaded by black. The key point was that anybody will just, black king will know that I can always block white's pawn, right? But the key point is how to prevent the black's pawn from queening, and that there is this tactical thing. And again, let's come to the geometry of the chessboard, right? This is what I think some time back I had said that in chessboard, especially with king moves, the diagonals are the same value as the actually sides of the square. So it takes the same amount of time for the black king to come from a4 to e4, whether he goes by b5 c6 d5 e4 or b3 c2 d3 e4, or all these paths, they take the same amount of time. But there are some paths which are more advantageous because they create a threat. So if white king had simply come via b4 c4 d4, then there is no threat that white is creating, and hence he is not going to be forcing black to waste a move, and black is going to then just be in time to queen his pawn. But by moving to b5 and c6, white is creating an alternate threat which forces black to move, waste a move from king d8 to c8, and that is enough for white to just be in the thing. So very, very instructive endgame to remember. Okay, everyone got this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Here, if the black king was on c8, it would be a
If
clear
the-
win for black.
Yeah, if the black king was in the initial position, if the black king was on c8 instead of d8, then it's a win for black. Anyone not convinced?
Yeah, because black wouldn't
I'm
spend 1 minute
convinced.
moving his king to c8.
Yeah, because then black would not have to make the move to c8, and then white will simply get it, right?
White king can't control like b7.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, even if he goes to a7, or doesn't matter where, black king is controlling the queening square, means it's just not possible there, right? So that was the key thing. So fine. So let us look at. Yeah, this is a very instructive example where two top class grandmasters, but even they, while playing a tournament game, sometimes they will make mistakes. So this is what happened. So, so what so white's pawn first queens. Okay, we'll see this game. White's pawn queens, and black plays a4. So though white has got a queen and black's pawn are 3 steps away, but it is not easy for white to stop. So best that white gets actually is, there is a very tricky way in which white can play to get a win. Okay, we'll see it what happens. So first of all, okay, white plays king to c. White has to get his king in. Okay, because just by moving the queen, he will, because black has got 2 pawns and they are connected. So just by moving the white queen alone, he will not be able to stop the a4 and b4 pawns. So white moves his king up and black pushes the pawn. White pushes the king furthermore. Black pushes the pawn. Now white moves his king and gives a check. Right, this is the right time to give, because you cannot allow the pawn to queen. And now it makes sense for white to play king to a3. Why? Because if he plays king to a1, then what happens?
Queen p3.
Then
You get queen
Um,
b3. Wait, no.
Queen,
Yeah,
e1.
queen a.
queen a8. Queen a8, allowing you to black to queen.
Oh, so what happens
Yeah.
is you skewer the queen and then you
You exchange
And
the
then you
queen swap,
promote.
and then this pawn runs through. Right? So because of this, when after king to d4 check, black king has to go to protect the pawn. Otherwise, that always threat is there. Even if that king goes to anywhere else, if king goes to b1, then it is very easy. Right? It blocks his own pawn. Then white will be very easily be able to come back and this one. So he goes to a3, still threatening now. b1 check. So queen to f8 check. King goes to,
why doesn't white play queen to g3 check?
Queen to g3 check is also possible. Oh, you will see it. Why? Because he wants to. He will come to there, but he will come in a particular. He wants to come on the light square on the third rank. Okay, he wants to come to f3 because later on, even if king goes to a2, then he can give this check around the
Oh,
right diagonal. Okay, that is the intention. Okay, now again, black king strategy is still a3 because if black king goes to a1, then white queen goes to a5 and then executes the same strategy, right? So again, now king has come to a3. Now queen is coming to b5, sorry, c5 check. King goes to a7 again. And now what can you do? You can do,
oh, he's coming in a way such that it goes like.
sorry. Any you are saying something here? Okay, so now here white makes a mistake. What ideally white should play? White should pin the pawn and queen to c2 white should play. Instead, white plays queen to c4 and then black gets a draw now. Black gets a draw. How? King to a3. Even now, white if plays queen to c2, then he will have a chance of winning, but not after king to c4. After king to c4, then what happens is white lets this pawn queen. Queen takes it. King takes it. White was still thinking. See, this was an error in calculation. Why did such a top class grandmaster play king to c4? Not for anything else. What he thought is that even if black queens, I will be able to exchange the queens and I am able to stop the black's pawn from queening. In fact, I will be able to capture it and black will not be able to stop my pawn. That is what he thought. Okay, that is what he thought. But the great move that stops it is what is the great move that stops it? What should
King to
black play?
B2.
Huh?
King to
King
B2.
b2.
King to B2.
King to b2.
B2 forces white to waste a move. Now the threat is a3. If a3, then a2, a1, right? So white king has to waste a move to stop it, and this is enough for the king to come to c3, and now the pawn is stoppable, right? If black king plays c2 here, then white does not have to waste any more. Then he will play f2 to f4 and then black king can never stop it, right? King to c2 loses because to f4, but king to b2, now because I am threatening a3, white king has to take the a4 pawn and then I play b2 to king to c3 and after that I stop the f2 pawn. Got it?
Yes.
Right, so I mean that's what end games, even though the king and pawn end games of this nature also, you have to really calculate properly and accurately, because there are small intricacies are there, because of which that's what I mean, the rule of the square looks like a very simple rule, looks like anybody will be able to follow it. What is the big deal? Even my dad, I can teach it and he will be able to follow it. Yeah, but there are more and more nuances to it. There are no more and more sides to it that you need to understand. So this is again a very key end game to learn and understand and draw lessons from. Okay, fine. If this is clear, then we will look at the last position for today, which is, yeah, this is a in fact I will let you watch this. I will let you watch this. Uh, it is given and all of you have access, so we We will not go through this. We will go to the instead to the analysis positions. So let us see. F7 we had to see it this time, right? Yeah, F7. This is the position. Black to play.
Bishop X H2.
Yeah, bishop h2 check, king h1, and then
Bishop G3.
correct. Bishop g3 discovered check, king g1, queen h2 check, king f1, and queen takes f2 checkmate. Right?
Wait, can you say that again?
Bishop h2 check,
Okay.
king h1,
Bishop H2?
bishop h2, black to play.
Oh, it's black. Okay.
Bishop h2 check, king h1, bishop to g3, king g1, queen h2 check, king f1, queen f2 checkmate.
Oh yeah, this is yeah.
It's fairly simple, but you just have to remember, I mean, you just have to strike it. Sometimes it doesn't strike you. Where will you take the bishop back? Right, so that is there. But bishop to g3 is the very important thing. Okay, number 26.
Queen takes rook.
So
White to play.
Queen X F8.
Queen X
Queen
F6
F8.
Yeah. Queen takes f8 is the immediately you have to strike, because queen takes f8, king f8, bishop to c5 check, pushing the king back to g8, and then rook to e8 is checkmate. Right.
There is another variation like bishop e4.
When? First move?
Yeah, first move.
Bishop e4 is not possible. Bishop is already on e3.
d4, d4.
Bishop to d4. No, bishop to d4. Bishop to d4, queen takes d4.
Then queen e8, rook takes and
Queen e8. Queen e8,
Rook
then
doesn't
bishop
have
to
to
d7.
take.
It's
Exactly.
The rook
queen
doesn't have to take.
take.
Yeah, bishop to d7 wins for black. First of all, you don't even have bishop to d4, queen d4 is a check to the king. And it loses anyway. So queen takes f8. I hope you saw that, huh? Queen d4 is a check to white king. And even if that was not a check, even then queen e8, then black will play bishop to d7 and then win. Okay, so I think this is got this fairly these ones. Anyone, any doubt, any question, any doubt?
When is the L4 Swiss tournament? The
L4 Swiss
midterm one?
will be end of July. We will have it. 4
Okay.
months end. And I think International Chess Day is happening on 21st July. It is midweek, but we will celebrate it on the weekend with a fun chess event for all. So I think you can start getting your friends, maybe school friends or relatives or parents, grandparents, whatever. So we'll probably have it on 23rd or something. Friday we might have it, or Saturday, depending on the fun chess event. Okay. All right. So that is that. Let me stop.